Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Amy. I am a mum of 2 boys and really happen to love books. So if you want to join me on my cozy little corner of the internet, then please like this video or even consider subscribing. It would be amazing to have you here. So I have got another book haul for you guys. I've got a little autumn book haul. Now this is a collection of books I've accumulated over the past few months. I haven't bought all of these in one go. It's just what I've accumulated over the past, I'd say like 2 or 3 months. So we've got 19 books here. I was going to wait until I got to 20, but then I thought I don't know when I'm going to get my next book, so yeah. I have quite a few paperbacks and a few hardbacks to go through with you guys, and a lot of these are parts of series or full series. So shall we jump right into this autumn book haul? First 3 books I have to share with you guys are part of a series. These are interconnected standalones, and the first book is Priest by Simone. So these, as I said, are interconnected standalones. We follow different characters in every single book, but I do believe they are part of the same kind of world, universe, etc. So in the first book we follow Tyler. He's had no problem playing by the rules for the past 3 years after a family tragedy set him on the path to priesthood. That all changes when the delicious, sultry voice of Poppy Danforth sinks its claws in him through the screen of his confessional booth, and he can't get her sins out of his head. Tyler can't help but break all his rules for Poppy, no matter what it might cost them both. These books are very, very spicy from what I've heard. So that one was Priest, and then next we have Sinner, and in Sinner we follow Sean. There are words for men like him: playboy, womanizer, skirt chaser, sinner. Zenny, though, isn't looking to play it safe during her final month of freedom. She wants to make sure choosing God is the right path, and to do that she propositions Sean to show her every carnal temptation she's leaving behind. So yeah, giving into temptation themes in this one. And then the final one is Saint, and this one is an LGBTQ one, I believe. So we follow Aidan and Elijah. 4+ years haven't made letting Elijah go any easier, but at least Aidan hasn't come face to face with those whiskey eyes and soft mouth since he left. That is until Elijah shows up on his doorstep, assigned to accompany Aidan on a European monastery trip for a road trip for an article he's writing. So exes to possibly lovers again, I'm not sure. These books are very, very spicy from what I've heard, and I would say maybe on the cusp of dark romance. From the covers it definitely gives dark romance vibes, but we shall see once I've read them. Next is another series, and the first book I've mentioned already in a couple of TBRs. So I've had it on my bookshelf for quite a while, but I wanted to include it in this haul, and it is Powerless by Lauren Roberts. So this is kind of like Hunger Games, but with a bit more enemies to lovers. So we follow Payden, and she is an ordinary posing as a psychic to blend in with the elites. So the elites have powers the ordinaries don't, and she is posing as an elite to kind of blend in. And she saves one of the princes, and then she is thrown into the purging trials, showcasing the elite's powers. So she's got herself in a bit of a conundrum because she has no powers, but yet she has to pretend that she has. So we shall see how this goes. I have seen this everywhere. I've seen it all over Bookstagram, all over BookTube, and I'm very excited to see what the hype is about. Now, I couldn't get Powerless and not get Reckless, which is the second book in the series, and I believe the 3rd book comes out next year, and I'll probably be getting that as well. I'm not going to read the synopsis on the back because I don't know what happens in the first book, and if you guys haven't read the first book, I don't want to spoil it for you either. So all I know is that this is a direct continuation of the storyline of the first book. And next we have the little novella that accompanies the Powerless series, and that is Powerful. So this, I believe, is set in the exact same storyline as Payden and Kai, but it follows another person's point of view, another character's point of view. That's all I seem to know, and again, I don't want to read the back in case it gives any spoilers for Powerless. So I'm not going to read anything more on it, but this looks like I could read it very, very quickly. Next is another little novella, and this is a standalone, and this has had recommendations from Grady, Hendrix and Stephen King. These have both recommended it and done reviews on it, and it is The Rats by James Herbert. Now this cover is disgusting. I don't know what it is. I usually find rats quite cute, but I mean like pet rats, not like sewer drain rats. So this is a horror from what I believe it must be if Stephen King and Grady Hendrix have done a commentary on it. The first victim was a former paper salesman drinking himself into oblivion down by the docks. Next, a child and her beloved dog. Then 6 drifters fighting over a bottle of gin, all devoured by a black, writhing mass of giant rats. This sounds freaky as all heck. It sounds really, really freaky, but I'm trying to build my resistance to horror because I'm not a big horror reader, but I've already read a couple already this spooky season, so hopefully I get a bit better, because my reactions to some of the books that I've read so far have not been great. I have felt a bit squeamish, I'm not going to lie, and this cover is making me feel a bit squeamish, so we'll see how I got on with this. Speaking of Grady Hendrix and horror, I picked up the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. Now, I read My Best Friend's Exorcism a couple of weeks ago and I really, really liked it, so I wanted to pick up some more of Grady Hendrix's works, and this was in my local Waterstone, so I picked it right up. And I love the fact it kind of has like that mix of summer and spooky, because we've got like all the fruit on here. I think these are peaches, I think. And then we've obviously got the bite marks from the vampires on there. And I love the fact that the synopsis isn't on the back. It's not on the inside, but it's on this bright green page here. Patricia Campbell's life has never felt smaller. Her husband is a workaholic. Her teenage kids have their own lives. Her senile mother-in-law needs constant care, and she's always a step behind on her endless to-do list. The only thing keeping her sane is her book club, a close-knit group of Charleston women united by their love of true crime. Then James Harris walks into her life during the summer of 1993. He makes her feel things she hasn't felt in years, but when children on the other side of town go missing, Patricia wonders if he's connected. Is he a Brad Pitt, a Bundy, or something much worse? I really, really like the sound of this, and I would love to join a book club about true crime. I have a really big interest in true crime, and this sounds great to me. It is a little bit longer than My Best Friend's Exorcism, but what I really like is that the length of these books coordinates. All of the books that Grady Hendrix has written, they are quite a bit bigger than standard paperbacks. If I just get, let's get Powerless for example, it is quite a bit longer, and that is pretty consistent through all of Grady Hendrix's books. My Best Friend's Exorcism is also this length, which I really like, so this will be going just underneath My Best Friend's Exorcism, which is just up here, so super excited to read this. Next is the second book in a series. I have the first one just behind me, and it is Leather and Lark by Brynne Weaver. This is the second book to Butcher and Blackbird, and I'm not going to read the synopsis because I think this might be a direct continuation or involves characters from the first book, so I'm not going to read the synopsis because I don't want to spoil anything for myself. And I think, I can't remember, Scythe and Sparrow, that's the third book that has recently come out or will be coming out very soon, and I am hoping to complete the series. So all I know is that this is about serial killers who fall in love, or at least that's all I know about the first one. So I don't know if it's going to be the same for this one, but I do really like the covers of these. I do think they're really, really cool, and I love the fact that they are very synchronized, but not because of the colours. I think it is really, really cool. So these last 4 paperbacks are actually interconnected standalones, not of the same series. I have 2 part of one series and then 2 that are part of another, and the first one is My Roommate is a Vampire by Jenna Levine. So spooky season, vampires, I had to pick it up. Cassie Greenberg needs a new place to live, and fast. When she finds an affordable apartment in the beautiful neighbourhood, she knows there must be a catch. Of course, her new roommate, Frederick J. Fitzwilliam, is far from normal. He sleeps all day, is out at night on business, and talks like he walked out of a Regency romance novel. He also leaves Cassie heart-melting notes around the apartment, always asks about her day, and doesn't look half bad shirtless on the rare occasions they're both home and awake. I have a feeling that this is going to be filled with banter. I think it's going to be super, super funny. And I just couldn't resist this for the spooky season. So that is My Roommate is a Vampire. I also picked up My Vampire +1 by Jenna Levine. And I love the sprayed edges on the side of this book. It's just it's such a shame that they aren't on this one. I could probably find one somewhere, but I just love this ombre sprayed edge. I think it's stunning. So this is in the same universe, but different characters. Amelia Collins is tired of constant questions about her non-existent dating life, so she decides to get everyone off her back once and for all by finding someone, anyone, to pose as her date to a family wedding. If he's annoying or embarrassing, so much the better. Coincidentally, Reginald Cleves has centuries of experience at being rude, infuriatingly arrogant, and a fashion eyesore, which makes him perfect for her purposes. This just looks so cool. Again, I think it's going to be so funny, so filled with banter. And I've heard very good things about both of these, so fingers crossed I like them because I think they'll be perfect for the spooky season. And the last two, these have been on my wish list for a while, and I found these in the works, and I've just found out that book 4, I only found out about book 3 the other day, and I've now found out that book 4 will be coming out next year. This is the Rebel Blue Ranch series by Lyla Sage, and the first book is Done and Dusted. So I do believe these are interconnected standalones, so I love the artwork on these. So the first one is Done and Dusted. For the first time in her life, Clementine Emmy Ryder has no idea what she's doing. She's accomplished everything on her to-do list. She left her small hometown of Lark, Wyoming, went to college and made a career for herself by doing her favourite thing, riding horses. But after an accident makes it impossible for her to get back into the saddle, she has no choice but to return to the hometown she always wanted to escape. Luke Brooks is Meadowlark's most notorious bad boy, bar owner and bachelor. He's also the unofficial 5th member of the Ryder family. As Emmy's older brother's best friend, Luke spent most of his childhood antagonising her. It's been years since he's seen her. When she walks into his bar and back into his life, he cannot take his eyes off of her. Against his better judgment, he wants to do a whole lot more than just look at her. So this is brother's best friend and sibling. So I don't know how this is going to go from the cover. Looks like it's going to go pretty well. But again, I just love this like pop art style on the cover. I think it's stunning. So that is Done and Dusted. And then the second one is Swift and Saddled. And the FMC on this, look at the tattoos. Oh, I just love it so much. After the disaster that was her marriage, Ada has clawed her way up from rock bottom, and now her fledgling interior design business had landed a career-making project at Rebel Blue Ranch in Wyoming. Western Ryder is a happy guy, even happier now that the mystery woman from the bar is the interior designer on his project. It's too bad she wants absolutely nothing to do with him outside of work. So this is kind of like Grumpy Sunshine. Not enemies to lovers, but disliked to lovers, I'd say. And I just love this cover so much. I think it's so cool, and I've just seen the covers of the 3rd and the 4th ones, and they are even more stunning. And I just cannot wait to get my teeth into all of these books. Okay, so let's now move on to the hardbacks. I'm super, super excited about this because there are some Waterstone special editions in here, and they're so pretty. It makes me so, so happy. First book I'm going to mention is Can't Spell Treason Without T by Rebecca Thorne, and I finally got my hands on the Waterstones edition, and these sprayed edges, you guys, are just absolutely stunning with the teacups and the dragons. I think it's just absolutely gorgeous. And this is signed by Rebecca Thorne as well. So we follow Raina, who is kind of like a guard to a queen, but this queen is very tyrannical and vindictive. And Kiersten, who is the other FMC we follow, she is basically like an archmage. So she's one of the most powerful mages in this realm. And they've been hiding their relationship for the last 2 years and have planned to run away together to open up this tea shop, but it's always been put on the back burner because they're both very devout to their roles and are scared of the consequences of what would happen if they left those roles. But one day the queen performs a very vindictive and evil act in front of Raina, and she decides that she's just had enough. So she goes and finds Kiersten, and along with her horse and Kiersten's pet griffin, they go to a new town and open up a tea and a bookshop. And it's just so cosy. The vibes in this, very similar to Legends and Lattes. I love this so much. I actually got this as an ARC through NetGalley, because I believe it was indie published to start with, and then I received it as an ARC once it got picked up by a publisher. And I just love this so much. I can't wait to read it again. So the next one is also by Rebecca Thorne, because it's the second book in the series, and that is A Pirate's Life for Tea. And this has anchors and teacups on it, which I think is just absolutely beautiful. And this one is also signed here. I don't know the exact plot of this one. All I know is that it involves Raina and Kiersten and some pirates. That's all I know. So I'm going to leave it at that, because I really want to immerse myself into this and go into it blind. So I don't know what this one involves, but I'm very excited to find out. So this next book I didn't see in my local Waterstones. I saw it in like the next town over, because I was picking up a parcel from Next, and our Next has a Waterstones included in it. And the book I picked up, just let me fix this dust jacket because it's annoying me a little bit. So the next book I picked up is Goddess with a Thousand Faces by Jasmine Elmer. And this is historical fiction, but it explores every single story of the goddesses mentioned in this book, and it's from cultures all around the world. So we have like Freya from Norse mythology, we have Isis from ancient Egypt, and Artemis from Roman, Greek mythology. And what I absolutely love is that at the start of every one of these stories there is an illustration of the goddess, which I think is absolutely stunning. And each story is written in the first person as well, so from the goddess's point of view. And just this cover, oil foiling, and then the back is even more gorgeous. So this, I would say, is historical fiction, and I am so excited to explore more history. I think even if these women never existed, I think it is important to explore their stories, because they must have stemmed from somewhere. And I just think that it explores a lot about empowerment and making sure that women's stories are heard. And I think this has, for such a small little book with lots of small little stories in, it holds very, very big meaning for each one of these stories. So I'm very excited to read this and delve into more aspects of history all around the world. So this next book is quite literally staring me in the face, and it's making me feel very uncomfortable. I don't like the cover at all, and from what I've heard from other videos I've watched on BookTube, I think a lot of people feel the same way. I'm not a big fan of this cover, but the book is Lucy Undying by Kiersten White. I do not like this cover. It makes me so uncomfortable, but it's also so stunning at the same time. So this is a Dracula retelling. So we follow Lucy. Her name was written in the pages of someone else's story. Lucy Westenra was one of Dracula's first victims, but her death was only the beginning. Lucy rose from the grave a vampire and has spent her immortal life trying to escape from Dracula's clutches and trying to discover who she really is and what she truly wants. So this book is about finding yourself in the face of adversity, and you know, she was bitten by Dracula, but that doesn't make her only one of Dracula's victims. She wants to find out what else she is and what else she can and will be. And I think this is going to be quite an emotional story. So it says Dracula changed her, love will transform her. I am very excited to read this, and it has recommendations from Chloe Gong, Ava Reid, Erin A. Craig, and those are all authors that I want to read books from, so if they've recommended it, I am sure I'm going to like it. Speaking of Ava Reid, we have Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid as our next book, and I have the Waterstones edition here, which I'm so sad because it was, the sprayed edges were facing upwards in my bag, and it started to rain, so it's got rain damage on the side, but I do think it adds a little bit of character. And the end pages on this are just absolutely stunning, because it does kind of have those, it kind of reminds me of Brave, like the medieval Scottish designs. So this is kind of like a Macbeth retelling, but from Lady Macbeth's point of view. Lady knows the stories that her eyes induce madness in men. The lady knows she will be wed to the Scottish brute who does not leave his warrior ways behind when he comes to the marriage bed. The lady knows his hostile, suspicious court will be a game of survival, requiring all of her wiles and hidden witchcraft to survive. She does not know this yet, but she will. Oh my gosh. I am so excited to read this. I've heard mixed things, so it does worry me a little bit, but just this cover alone is enough to make me want to read this. I think it is absolutely gorgeous, and I cannot wait for this to have pride of place on my bookshelf. 2 more books, you guys. We're in the final stretch. We have 2 more books, and the next one is Nightbane by Aster. Now this is the sequel to Lark, so again, I'm not going to read the synopsis just in case you haven't read Lark and you want to, because this will probably give spoilers. I do believe this is a direct continuation, and I think Sky Shade comes out later on this year. But what I love about these books is that the title carries on onto the naked hardcover, and the colour matches as well. I think it's absolutely stunning. And the chapter heads, well, I say chapter heads, it's every single page has this like thorn detail. I think it's absolutely gorgeous, and then when you put the book together, it kind of has this like synchronized stripe across, which I really, really like, and I love the cover of these. And what else I love is the size of these as well. You can probably see Lark up there, and I have a few books like it, like Legends and Lattes, and I have Grave Maidens by Kelly Coon here. They're all smaller hardbacks, which I really, really like, because it means that you can easily fit them in a bag and they're not going to take up loads of room. So hopefully I get around to reading the Lark saga very, very soon. We are down to the last book, you guys, and this is a sequel as well, so I won't be reading the synopsis of this one because I haven't even read the first one yet, but I've heard so many good things about the first one. And the book is The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent. So this is the sequel to The Serpent and the Wings of Night, which I've heard is Hunger Games but with vampires, and I think it literally says that on the inside of the dust jacket in the synopsis. So this is a sequel. This kind of scares me because it is a chunky boy, but on the back, I was everything I was meant to be, my father's daughter, victim and protege, greatest love and ruination. That sounds phenomenal. I'm so excited, but I'm really, really tempted to take the dust jackets off these, because look at the naked hardcover, you guys. Oh my god, they're so beautiful, and it's a very similar design on The Serpent and the Wings of Night, and the copy I have of The Serpent and the Wings of Night is actually slightly damaged. The dust jacket is ripped, but I got it for over half price, I believe. I think I got it for half price. Because of the damage in the dust jacket. So that kind of made me tempted. You can see it there. It's got a slight rip just there. So I am very tempted to take the dust jackets off and keep them somewhere safe, because I think the naked hardbacks of the Crowns of Nyaxia series is absolutely stunning. And I have just seen the pictures of the naked hardcover of, I think it's The Songbird and the Heart of Stone, I think that's what it's called. Which is another part in that series as well. So I'm super, super excited to finally sink my teeth into the series, quite literally, because it's a series about vampires. But yeah, I'm super excited to just read all of these books, and I'm so glad that I can finally put them on my bookshelves. So that was my autumn book haul, you guys. I hope you have really, really enjoyed this video. And I don't know if I'm going to be doing any more book hauls anytime soon. Me and my best friend are going to Cambridge in a few weeks to start our like Christmas shopping and things like that. But we have said that we're going to go into Waterstone, so I will hopefully take you guys along with me for that. But we shall see, because my camera is quite big, and for some reason I can't export clips from my phone into iMovie, it just won't let me. So we shall see how that goes, but I will definitely do a book haul if I buy any books from there. So I hope you guys have really enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you have enjoyed, and I will see you very soon in the next one. Bye!